combining encaustic and oil paint with Shawna Moore. To arrive at this point in the painting, I've applied 3 or 4 layers of smooth wax. I have also created texture with an iron and applied oil paint as a means to create visual texture and a warm underpainting. Make sure to use rubber gloves when you work with oils. As I have said before, this is a health and safety precaution and also keeps the paintings in studio cleaner. You may want to experiment with using a brush, but I like to apply the paint with my fingers, and the direct pressure of my hand on the wax gives me a real sense of the surface of the painting. You will want to have a variety of colors of oil paint, pigment sticks, or oil bars as you move into this next stage. I love the RNF pigment sticks as they are a mixture of high-grade pigment, wax, and linseed oil. Transparent colors seem to work better when using wax and encaustic and developing paintings that have a great visual depth. Try the alizarins and the phthalos. I find that I spend as much time manipulating the paint and wiping extra away at this stage as I do applying the paint in the first place. Too much oil paint at any one stage also creates a barrier to the drying time of the paint and the bonding of wax layers. Just a hint of oil paint or pigment stick is needed. Otherwise, you have wet oil paint trapped between layers of wax. The paint will never dry, and the wax layer will never really adhere if you leave too much. The same goes to letting a large glob of oil paint dry on the surface. The wax will not be able to penetrate the dried linseed oil, and you will have a problem area in the painting. Really, just use a little paint at a time. I know this as I have tried to use big sweeps of color, and you cannot unless you use a colored wax. Just a kiss of color per layer and lots of patience will give you best results. Another way to bump up your color saturation is to tint the color of your encaustic medium. If working in warm colors, you may want to use the golden color of natural beeswax or a really warm transparent color like RNF alizarin orange encaustic paint. I like to melt the blocks directly into my encaustic medium, but be cautious here. You just want to gently tint the medium, not turn the whole batch orange. RNF colors are very concentrated, so add less to start as you will build the layers and the color will increase. You may want to dip a piece of mat board into the wax to see how dark the tint is. You will not want to add a plain, untinted coat of medium, as it will look milky or white on tops of warms or even blues. Tinting the mixture reduces the tendency of the wax to obscure the colors. The oil paint or pigment stick layer you have created on the surface of the wax is very delicate. When you have added and subtracted to create your image or mood, gently fuse the paint so that the wax encapsulates the paint and holds it as you prepare to add the next layer of encaustic, perhaps a gently tinted wash. Use light strokes and rotate the panel so that the wax layer is even. Scrape any unwanted buildup, and remember, the painting will be made in multiple layers, so this one doesn't have to be perfect, absolutely smooth, or the brightest color yet. Again, layer by layer, you will build up the painting. Please remember the safety of your workspace. You may want to turn off the wax as you work with the oil paint and pigment sticks. Keep the wax away from the space where you are working and always have good ventilation. You may want to get inventive with the ways you use oil paint. Make some lines using your tools and pick up those lines with oil paint. One of my favorite techniques is to use a chain to draw a line. The random marks that the chain creates are unique to every painting. Press or hammer the chain into warm wax and then be careful as you pull it up. You are making an indentation which you will later fill with wax or a light touch of paint. Treat this area like you have done with the buildup of color. Wipe away as much paint as you can, leaving only what you need, and not so much that you negatively affect the drying properties of the paint and the bonding properties of the wax. Oil will help to loosen the paint and brighten the painting, but can impair the bonding of the wax layers, so make sure it is all wiped away. Lightly fuse this layer and allow the paint to dry or proceed with an additional layer of wax. The painting now reflects several techniques and the time that has passed, starting with the textured panel. The impact that the tools and colors impart give the painting the look of worn fresco or old paper. The images that you conjure will be based on your own experience, color preferences, and luck. Enjoy the journey and perfecting these unique methods for painting with Encaustic.